Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I want to do a little ramble and just talk about two of the watches that I own, a Rolex and Omega. Before I get into it, let me give you a wrist check here. I am wearing one of my least expensive watches, one of the ones that I love the most, the Toilet Oak from Casio. I bought this from my friend Robert. But these are the watches that I want to talk about today. Right here on the left is the Omega Seamaster Professional Ceramic in blue. Outgoing model. This has just been replaced with an updated version, an all-new watch. And then here on the right is the Rolex GMT Master 2 in black. And I love both watches. I mean, I count myself very fortunate to have both in rotation. And I've owned a few Omegas and Rolexes over the years. So this video, I just want to talk about a few things about each brand, kind of give you an owner's perspective, and hopefully you enjoy the video. Now let's talk some specifics. How much of a difference in quality between the two watches and the two brands is there? Well, visually, I mean, just from, as you guys can see from this video, there's not a whole lot of difference when it comes to the fit and the finish, the presence in person, how much it pops. Both of them are finished extremely well. The Omega has got a little bit more going on. It's a little bit more sleek and modern. The GMT Master 2 is a little bit more simplistic in its finishes, but more timeless and unchanging in its design since its inception in the 1950s. So, I mean, visually, there's not a whole lot of difference when it comes to day-to-day wear. I will say that the Rolex has the nicer bracelet. I've put quite a bit of wear into mine because I do not baby my watches. I wear them, and I wear them hard. And so the bracelet is a little bit more solid. Definitely the clasp is nicer. There's more of a feel of quality and heft to it when you compare it to the Omega. Now let me kind of show you what I'm talking about. There's a lot more flex and give to the Omega. And the clasp is nice. I'm not trying to knock it. I just think from wearing them day to day, the Rolex edges out the Omega in terms of the bracelet and the clasp at least. Now with accuracy, I'm really not seeing much difference. The Rolex is almost spot on every day. Their superlative chronometer, that's no joke. They really do a great job in fine-tuning these before they leave the factory. So this is just about spot on every day. The Omega is usually 1 to 2 seconds per day slow, but still very, very accurate. And this has the coaxial 2500D caliber, a caliber that I really like personally. Now going in on some more details here, I'm going to give you macro shots. I'm going to switch between the two watches. The Rolex has this beautiful lacquered dial. It's very deep. You see the reflections. You see the white gold indices, how they pop. So it's nice to have a little bit of precious metal here on the Rolex. And you'll notice there is no anti-reflective treatment except for the underside of the Cyclops, which is kind of interesting. So this really has a lot more light play visually. Now contrasting that with the Omega also has a beautiful dimensional dial, much more reflective, but I don't think quite as deep. But notice the little details here, they're really good. Your white printing is not just flat white, it's dimensional, it's silver, there's a little bit of reflectance, almost like there's tiny bits of diamond in that paint. I doubt that that's the case, but nevertheless, very, very sharp. Now there are going to be some more differences. The Rolex is going to have nicer bezel action. The bezel action here on the Omega is, well, it's a little bit disappointing. But, other than that, looking at the finish work, I would say the Rolex, definitely a little bit more simple, a little bit more austere, definitely timeless, definitely very nice. I mean, functional, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And contrasting that with the Omega, more faceted, more visually interesting, I think. I mean, look at this beautiful case back engraving. Now here is where it gets interesting. The Omega retails for $4,400. The GMT Master 2 retails, I believe it's $8,950. So, I mean, it's double the cost. And in my opinion, from an owner, it's definitely not double the watch, if that makes sense. So, I love both. I don't think I have to be one guy or the other. I have to be a Rolex loyalist or an Omega fanboy. I don't have to be either one. I can appreciate each for what they bring to the table. Now, I've heard comments, I've heard people voice concerns like, well, I just don't know if I could buy an Omega or a Rolex because I just don't want people to judge me. I don't want people to think, oh, wow, he's so cool, he wears a Rolex, or he spent so much on an Omega. Let me tell you guys something. I wear these watches regularly. I don't believe anybody's actually complimented me on either one of these. I get compliments on my Seikos, on my G-Shocks, on my affordable pieces, my micro brands. I've never had anyone call me out, I guess you could say in the wild, wearing one of these watches. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Now, if I had to pick one, if for whatever reason I was told you can only own one watch, between these two, which one would it be? I'd have to say I would choose the Rolex. Some of you guys might be disappointed in that, but this one means a lot to me. There's a lot of sentimental value in this watch, and it really just goes in any occasion and any situation. I've gone on some great adventures with both of these watches, and I'll give you guys some wrist shots of this, camping, hiking, going to Flaming Gorge, Utah, and kayaking with my GMT Master 2, taking the family ice skating, wearing my Omega Seamaster, doing these different activities. It's awesome. It really is, wearing one of these watches. Now, just in closing, I will say, although I do choose the Rolex, I actually wear the Seamaster more on a day-to-day basis. So take that as you will. But anyways, guys, just want to give you a little look. Both of my beautiful watches here, the watches that I wear most often. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let me know if you have any questions. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.